NBC 10 at issue.
Who was the first African-American to win a gold medal at the Olympics? Most of us would say Jesse Owens, but that would be incorrect. University of Pennsylvania graduate John Baxter Taylor, Jr. accomplished winning the gold in 1908. Dr. Taylor would die just a few months later at the age of 26. With me now is Craig Williams, author of a new book, The Olympian. The story, Dr. John Baxter Taylor, Jr., a story of triumph. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it, Craig.
Thanks for having me.
Why did you find this so fascinating that you would write a book?
Well, first of all, it was a personality that I just didn't know. It was a surprise to discover him, somewhat accidentally. And I was so taken with his story, not just his athletic achievements, but the things that he accomplished outside of the athletic arena. He was outstanding.
He was a doctor.
Yes.
Doctor of veterinary medicine.
He's a Philadelphia native. Well, his family moved to Philadelphia when he was a very young man, but he went to Central High School, which was a very prestigious school, and attended Brown Prep, which no longer exists. And then he went on to UPenn, first admitted into the Wharton program, and then ultimately graduated through the veterinary program and became a doctor.
And he was in the track program at Penn and went to the Olympics as part of a relay team.
Exactly.
And they won.
He won his medal as part of the relay team, but he also was a quarter miler. And he actually made it to the finals, but a controversy erupted, and he was not able to pursue the individual gold. But he did win a gold medal as part of the relay team. And
he wasn't involved in the controversy, but it was another teammate, and basically they were sticking up for the team and didn't do it. But
right.
So he seemed to be a man of principle as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. It was a moment that certainly showed his character and showed his love for the country and certainly his ideas about being a teammate.
Now, strictly speaking, this is a work of historical fiction.
Yes.
Why did you choose that tack as opposed to a biographical book?
The information about Dr. Taylor was fairly sparse. You know, there's statistical information available, races that he ran, times that he posted, the course of his life, the different institutions that I mentioned earlier, but there are vast gaps in his story. In order to create a compelling narrative, you need to fill in those gaps, and that's where the fiction comes in.
I found it interesting when you look at how his teammates eulogized him, and his teammates were white. The way they talked, I have to ask this question, do you think his teammates, his friends who were white, did they view him as a teammate or first, as a man first, or as a black man first?
I would think it would probably depend on the moment. You know, when he was posting an impressive time or winning a race, I'm sure he was seen as a teammate and an outstanding athlete. But I'm sure socially and in interpersonal, you know, relationships, it was a day and age when inequities were very apparent, very prominent, and African Americans were still trying to find their way in society. His parents were born slaves, so this was a first-generation free African American, and the times were very challenging.
And one wonders how much more he could have contributed to this community had he lived, yet he died. He got sick.
Yes, he succumbed to typhoid pneumonia, which I understand at the time was not all that uncommon.
Today, he probably would have been treated for that and survived.
Certainly.
But in that time, it was not the case. What strikes you most after you've written it, you're talking about it? Is there anything that you go to bed at night, you know, thinking about Dr. Taylor, and you think, that? Is there anything that sticks in your mind?
Sure. The courage of the individual. I mean, as we were just exploring, the times that he lived in, the challenges facing a young African-American man had to seem insurmountable. And this is an individual who was able to transcend those circumstances and beat a direct path to all the goals that he set for himself. And his achievements are outstanding by today's standards, so you can only imagine what that was like to accomplish those things 100 years ago.
Are you a different person now compared to when you wrote the book, started writing it?
Absolutely. This was very eye-opening. The Progressive Era was a fascinating moment, period of American history, a moment after slavery but before Jim Crow and the Civil Rights Era. And this was a moment when African Americans had the opportunity to dream big dreams and imagine how things would unfold.
I'll leave it there. But thank you, Craig. And good luck with the book. And you've got a book signing April 29th, Penn, right?
Yes.
Very good. That's it for this edition of NBC Tinted Issue. I'm Steve Highsmith. Thanks for joining us. Happy Easter.
Learn more about NBC 10's recent job opportunities by logging on to www.nbcunicareers.com or call our toll-free hotline at 610-668-5779.
Show her how much you care.